Welcome to today's Explainer. You and I are going on a bit of a trip today. We're going to start incredibly small, literally at the microscopic level of a single particle, and then we're zooming all the way out to the unimaginable vastness of the entire cosmos. We'll be looking at a really fascinating intersection, how the cold, hard facts of particle physics merge with a deeply compelling philosophical interpretation of what those facts might actually mean for our universe. Let's dive in.
So does flawless obedience happen on its own? Just think about a single atom for a second. It literally works around the clock, never taking a break, and it operates with this astonishing, completely error-free precision. We are talking about microscopic machinery that functions without a single, solitary deviation from its path. No misfires, no mistakes. Absolutely flawless. So the source material we're looking at today poses this core question. What is the nature of this perfection? Where does this unwavering obedience actually come from? Is it just spontaneous, or does it point to something else entirely?
Section 1. The illusion of choice. The rigid rules of the microworlds.
All right, let's look at the hard science for a minute. In the standard model of physics, electrons exist in what we call energy levels. Basically, these are highly specific, fixed states. Physics shows us that these subatomic particles possess exactly zero autonomous will, none. They are entirely bound by absolute physical laws. The laws of physics demand total compliance. And the electron? Well, it simply obeys, operating precisely within these predefined boundaries, without exception.
To put that into perspective, think about how often you wake up, hit the snooze button, and just think, man, today I just don't feel like it, right? That conscious choice is the absolute hallmark of free will. You can deviate. You can change your mind on a whim. But an electron? An electron is never going to wake up and decide to leave its orbit just because it needs a mental health day. No way. It has zero capacity for rebellion. Its whole existence is defined by an absolute unyielding adherence to these physical laws.
Section 2. The particle's voice. A philosophical testimony.
Now, when we look at this physical reality through the lens of a prominent Islamic scholar from the last century, we come across a really remarkable thought experiment. He essentially gives the subatomic particle a voice, treating it like a character, giving a testimony. He writes, "I perform boundless duties. I enter and work in every separate created thing. If you claim to be my Lord, first show you can manage all my peers simultaneously." Wow. It's a pretty powerful statement, isn't it? The particle is basically laying down a massive challenge about what it actually takes to control the fundamental building blocks of our reality.
Let's unpack that argument for a second. First, the particle is flawlessly executing boundless duties across countless distinct structures in the universe. But here is the real kicker. It shares its exact properties with infinite peers. Every single electron is absolutely identical to the next one. Because of this, the scholar argues, any claim of localized, piecemeal control is completely impossible. If you want to manage just one particle, you'd have to possess the immense power required to manage every single identical particle everywhere at the exact same time. It's an all-or-nothing deal.
Section 3. The universal signature. From the atom to the cosmos.
Okay, let's zoom way out now. Every atom, totally regardless of its mass or how complex its structure is, obeys the exact same physical laws. And this is where the mind-bending consistency of our universe really shines. The fundamental interactions, things like the strong nuclear force that hold atoms together or the complex electromagnetic rules governing light and matter, they remain perfectly unchanged everywhere. That strict obedience we just saw in a single solitary particle, it turns out that's actually a universal phenomenon.
To really picture this, I want you to imagine a cup of coffee sitting on a table in Istanbul. Got it? Now, picture the Andromeda Galaxy, which is over 2.5 million light-years away across the cold, dark expanse of deep space. Well, the electromagnetic rules, they are perfectly active in Istanbul, and they are perfectly active in Andromeda. The strong nuclear force, unchanged here, unchanged there. The result is absolute, unyielding particle obedience in both locations. The exact same strict laws that govern the atoms in your coffee cup are governing atoms in a star system millions of light-years away. It's wild to think about.
So how exactly does the source material connect all these scientific dots? Well, first, we observe the universal obedience of all atoms. Then, we recognize that this identical, flawless behavior spans the entirety of known space, from right here on Earth all the way out to Andromeda. And finally, we arrive at the philosophical conclusion. This vast, unbroken uniformity isn't interpreted as some product of random luck or blind chance. Instead, the source sees this as the deliberate signature of a single organizing power.
The consistency of the universe is read as a beautifully unified system, operating under a single set of rules.
Bringing this whole micro to macro journey to its climax, we find ourselves right back where we started. The smallest particle cannot claim ownership, it only obeys. Despite having this incredible energy, its flawless precision, and the massive, literal universe-building role it plays, the particle owns absolutely nothing. It has no will to assert. It exists in a perpetual state of strict, absolute obedience to laws it didn't even write.
Which ultimately leaves us with this one lingering thought. If the flawless particle has absolutely no choice, and if its unwavering behavior is perfectly identical across the infinite expanse of the universe, then who or what organizes this absolute obedience?